pretty good. No, I'm just kidding. How's everybody doing? You guys excited to be here? Right on. I'm always curious, because I know there's lots of new coaches, but how many of you have been coached since Beachbody started in Canada? Just curious. Raise the hands. That's crazy. Congratulations to you guys, because you guys have been in it for a while now, and it's been fun, eh? It's been a lot of fun, a lot of changes and stuff. And part of what I wanted to do today was share a little bit about Coach Summit. What I spoke about there a couple of, was it last week? I don't know, it feels like the longest week ever. I feel like I have like Coach Summit hangover. And like, were you drinking a lot? I was like, not really. There's so much stuff going in the brain, which is so good. So at Coach Summit, I got to speak on a topic called taking this from a hobby to a career. How many of you are interested in taking your business from a hobby to a career? Raise your hands. How about half of you? Okay, that's cool. I personally really like that topic, and when I was looking at talking about that topic, I really just kind of shared my story on stage, and that's kind of what I wanted to start with today, because I know probably a lot of you are like, who is this guy? You probably don't know who I am. Some of you have seen my highlight reel on Facebook, which isn't all of the truth, right? There's a lot more stuff behind the scenes, so I love getting in front of people and kind of sharing how it all started. So for me, the whole journey actually started when people say, wow, you did a lot in 2.5 years. I say that's not true. I did a lot in 35 years. It took me a lot to get here. I was born premature. I was born about 2 months premature in the 80s in South America in a little city called Arica, Chile. So back then, there wasn't all the technology there was. My mom was told that basically I was going to be born stillborn. My mom didn't believe that, and so she went up literally into the Andes Mountains in Peru and went to see a doctor and did a lot of cool stuff, did a lot of naturopathic stuff. People asked me why I didn't eat meat for a long time. It was because my parents stopped eating meat. That's what the naturopath said, is stop eating meat for a little bit. I know you're all like, you all love meat here, but that's why they did it. And so yeah, that's where my journey really started. And I ended up being born premature. My mom was on bed rest pretty much the whole pregnancy. And my parents had everything. They were, my dad was an engineer, my mom was an educadora de párvulo, which is like a nurse for kids in Chile. And then horrible things happened in South America, and there was a coup. And they had 2 weeks to leave the country. And they applied to Australia, and they applied to Canada. And the papers came to Canada 2 weeks early for Winnipeg, which is why I live in Winnipeg. And we immigrated here back in 82, 83. And that's really where my journey started, because coming here from that, and my parents did such a good job of telling me where I've come from. And you know, coming here with no job, their education was worth nothing. They had to start at the beginning. My mom was working in the apartments, cleaning basically apartments, right? So whenever people would move out, she'd clean the cat urine and all that stuff, and it wasn't the greatest apartment. And then my dad worked in a fur factory. He started working in a fur factory, and at nighttime to make the bills, he would work for the Winnipeg Free Press, driving a car, delivering the paper all night long. So that was kind of my life for the first 12 years or so. I went to a public school, and then I decided I wanted to make a difference, and I wanted to change some things. And so I decided to go to a private school. So I just told my parents, I'm like, hey, I should go to the school. It's called NBCI. I think I'd be great there. And they're like, well, it's going to be really expensive. So I ended up applying. Luckily, there was 2 kids that were accepted into that school that were not Mennonite, and I won one of those scholarships for my grades. And so I was able to go there. The school paid half. My parents had to pay half. They made maybe $30,000 a year, and the school was about $4,000 a year. So that was a big sacrifice for them. And then when I was about in grade 7 or 8, I remember I wanted this Super Nintendo system. And this is a big change for me. So I go to my dad, I'm like, hey, can you get me the Super Nintendo? And he's like, yeah, like, what is it? Tell me more about it. I tell him it was like $200 back then. And he's like, you know what? I'll buy you the Super Nintendo if you listen to this audio cassette. I'm like, what is it? He's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's a 30-day program. It's called Personal Power. You're going to love it. If you do that whole audio cassette, I'll buy you the Super Nintendo. So I was like, this is easy, no problem. So I started playing it. It took me about 3 tries to get through Personal Power, which is a Tony Robbins program. And I didn't know back then that my dad was basically programming me, right? Without programming me. And so you have kids, this works really well. And then slowly he'd start taking me to conventions where, like, Guthrie Ranker would have a thing, and then Tony Robbins would be there, all these different things. And by the way, Beachbody, Carl Deichler, I've actually read his entire bio and a lot of stuff about it. He actually started with the ranker stuff. But anyway, so that's when my journey started. But I didn't even know it started then. When I was 12, I was doing personal development stuff. All through high school, I was like a super geek, right? I started the chess club. Woo, I was popular. I hung out at the computer lab. I was Spanish and couldn't play soccer. I was never picked for the soccer team. That's kind of awkward. Yeah, so you all have perceptions of people. You probably some have perceptions of me. So that's kind of where it all started. And then in grade 10, the tuition started getting more expensive, so I had to get a full-time job. And I ended up starting working in technology, in tech. The internet back then was all dial-up. I started working at a tech company, and I started on the phones. I was the guy that worked for AT&T that when someone had a $2,000 cell or phone bill at the time, because they dialed up the internet too long, I was the guy that had to not only tell them, hey, I'm sorry, but I had to try and save them. I was part of the save team. People would call in, yelling every swear under the sun at me, and I was a little computer geek, and I was like, I'm sorry, and they had to try and save them. But again, there's a whole point to this at the end, I'll tell you. But at the end of that whole working there for a little bit, I learned how to build rapport with people very quickly. What I realized was, it wasn't about the sale, it wasn't about the offers I could give them. It was about building rapport with someone very, very quickly. And we got paid an extra $1. I was making like $6.50 an hour. I got paid an extra $1 for every person we saved. So in about a 3-month period, I started sitting around the best people that worked there. I was trying to figure out who was the best, what did they do? And I started emulating all of them and copying all of them. Within about 3 months, I was making about $40 an hour because I was saving people all the time, really fast on the phone. So, and again, I was like 17, 18. I literally bring my little suit and tie and put it in my locker in the private school. I changed right after math class. I remember math 40S. People were like, why are you wearing a suit? I'm like, I'm going to work. Why are you going to work? Because they were all rich. And I was like, well, I have to pay for this stuff. Right? I remember I didn't get the car when I was 16. None of that stuff happened for me. But that was kind of where my whole story kind of started. It went from there. I ended up getting a job working as a Microsoft consultant, so I worked for that for about 10, 15 years. But all throughout my journey, I learned something. I learned that if you really want something, you can have anything. I had no business being in that private school. I had no business getting a job as a Microsoft consultant. I had no business doing all these things. But what I did the whole way through, which I learned, which I applied very quickly with Beachbody, was that success leaves clues. Right? There's people that have done it before you. As much as you want to think, well, this area is different or this is different, it's not different. Right? You can figure out success leaves clues. So when I joined Beachbody, I became a Beachbody coach. I didn't even want to become a Beachbody coach. What happened was, I lost weight. I lost about 50 pounds I'd lost. I ended up losing 85 with Beachbody. I gained about 20 in Nashville. Thank you. But that was, I just lost the weight. I was literally in a hospital bed one day. I thought, I didn't know what it was. It was a panic attack or it was a stroke. I remember looking up in the ceiling of the hospital bed going like, why me? Why is this happening? And about a month of going to doctors, right, talking to doctors and stuff, none of which told me to lose weight. I decided, well, they don't know what they're doing, but I'm pretty sure if I lose some weight, things will get better. And that's when I saw a P90X commercial on TV, a TurboFire commercial, and I ended up basically trying P90X for 3 days. Didn't work. I fell on my butt on one of the chin-ups and I was embarrassed. And I ended up doing TurboFire, which worked out really well. I love TurboFire, I love Shalene, and I loved it because I love having someone tell me, at the end of the first, it's funny because I was flipping through it and I was like, what's the easiest workout, right? I'm like, hit 15 workout. Super fast, easy, I can do it. So I ended up doing the hit 15, but at the end of that video, and picture me like an extra 80 or maybe 70 right now, pounds on me, like doing all these things, and I could barely do it, but at the end of the video, this is important, she goes, it's you, baby, all you know and you can do this, right? And that is the key to what we all do, right? Forget about everything else, legs, ranks, all this kind of stuff. Honestly, I don't even know how the elite points work. I really don't. People always, I know a little more now because everybody asks me, and I'm like, I have no idea how they work. I just, and so the reality is, that's what it is. If you tell someone you believe in them, most people in their life has had maybe 1 or 2 people that have told them, I believe in you. So when you tell that to someone, that's an incredible power and a gift that you give to them that they take forever. right? So breathing that belief into them is so key. So I ended up doing that. And then a buddy of mine calls me up before it's supposed to launch in Canada, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to become a Beachbody coach?" And he talks to me about it on the phone for about 5 minutes, and I'm like, "That sounds like a scam, dude. I'm not doing that. I'm not having candle parties at my house. I don't know. That's weird. I'm embarrassed for you. Why would you call me?" Right? So he ended up signing up with a coach. I ended up signing up with my coach, Lindsay Matway. And I downloaded all the stuff. I did everything I was supposed to do for the first week. And I worked hard, like 60 hours that week. Sold 0 challenge packs, had 0 signups for coaches. It wasn't going good. And all of a sudden, a friend of mine, Marlo, calls me up, who's been a friend of mine for years before this. She's like, "How's that Beachbody thing going?" I'm like, "Oh, it's going awesome. So good. I love it. It's just amazing. It's going to blow up. It's going to be awesome. One of the top coaches in Canada." Right? I figured no one else had signed up yet, so it must be one of the top coaches in Canada. And she's like, "Great, I want to do this thing." I'm like, "Awesome." So I hang up the phone and I'm like, "Oh shit, I got to figure this thing out." Right? So I'm like, "She wants to meet at lunch tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay." So I spent like the next 5-6 hours going, you know what, I'm not going to read the training, the emails and all that stuff. I'm just going to find successful coaches on YouTube. And I found Scotty Hobbs videos and Melanie Mitro's videos and all these videos. And I was like trying to piece it all together. And I started doing what they were doing because I felt like I couldn't tell someone what to do if I wasn't doing it. So from the first week, signing up nobody, no coaches, no challengers. In 2 weeks, I became a diamond coach. So it took me 24 days to become a diamond. Honestly, I didn't even have a clue what I was doing. I was just sharing my story. The one thing that I have noticed is that a lot of people share their story without confidence, and some people share their story with confidence. Right? There's people that go through life, and you know them, kind of like Eeyore, right? They're like, "Why me? Life sucks. I was finally making it, and then just, oh man, I'm gonna miss Superstar. I can't make it." But then there's people like you that are like Eeyore, right? You're excited, right? You're like, sorry, like Tigger. Tigger's more exciting, and you're excited and you're passionate about what you're doing, right? And you're passionate about what you do, and because you're passionate like that about what you do, people want to be surrounded by you. There was I'm going to call you out. I have no idea who you were. I was in the bathroom stall, and there's another guy in there on his cell phone. He's like, "Hey man, you got to come down here. It's going to be cool. It's like good workout. It's awesome." I don't know who that was. I'm sorry to call you out, but that's you guys, right? Whoever that was, good on you, buddy. That's what it's all about, because we're excited about what we're getting, right? We're excited about the results that we're getting, and that's really what it's all about. But that's not enough, because that's a hobby. To get into the career level, what you all need to do is you need to make some big sacrifices. That's really the next step, because you're all busy. I remember driving home from that meeting, driving home from a meeting with a coach, and I was talking to Carl Deichler tweeted, "We have our first Canadian diamond," right? I really didn't know who Carl Deichler really was back then. I thought that was pretty cool. But I remember driving home going, "Okay, I gotta make some big sacrifices if I'm gonna make this work." My wife was pregnant, I had 2 kids at home, I was working 60 hours a week, traveling Monday to Saturday, I have 1 day at home. How was I going to make this work? How was I going to make this work? So I sacrificed things, right? I sacrificed going to sporting events, I sacrificed watching hockey, I canceled my cable. When I was in the car, I wouldn't listen to music, even though I love listening to music. I would listen to more personal development. I would watch YouTube, I would literally load YouTube videos on my phone in my car, plug it in, and watch it stream the data so I could watch videos as I was driving in and out from the airport or to work. I was like sucking in everything as much as I possibly could and learning as much as I could. That's a big trick, is sacrificing stuff that you're doing right now. All of you are still doing things that you're right now thinking, "I can't sacrifice that." It's not true. It's not true. You can sacrifice it. The second thing you gotta know is you gotta learn stuff. You gotta learn from as many people as you possibly can, because they're going to teach you. Everyone's open and willing to teach everything because we're so excited, right? I'm here, I think we have about 20 or 30 people that are here from our team, but the rest of you aren't technically on my team. But here's the secret I'm going to tell you, and I was telling Sean this at lunch, right? Our breakfast or dinner, I don't know what that was. It was like this much food, seriously. $100. I was like, what? so here's the thing I told him. I said, I believe in abundance. There are so many people, we haven't even started with Beachbody yet. So if you grow, we all grow. That's why I love speaking, because I know that's going to help you maybe in some little way. If I can just help one person, we all grow. So you have to believe in that abundance culture, that there's so many people out there, because especially as a newer coach, you're going to run into all those things. Oh, someone bought it off eBay. Oh, it's still on the store. Take a picture, send it to my coach. Why are they still selling it in the store? Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, the prices. All that stuff doesn't matter. What really matters is your story and your inspiration and your struggles, the ups and downs of the business. People think that everything just magically happens for me. It doesn't. I've gone through tons of struggles this year. Personally, business-wise, all the time. They always come. At Coach Summit, we had a ton of coaches there, but trying to manage all the coaches, making sure everybody's happy, it's a struggle. There's always more to learn, and there's always more room for you to grow. So you have to be willing to make the sacrifices. And while you're learning, here's the big one, if you want to make this a career, is you have to be willing to teach it. If you're not teaching what you're learning, you're just doing what you're learning, then you're not going to really learn it, right? So whenever I sign up a new coach, for example, and this is what I do with every coach, right? I'll sign up a coach, and I have a call with them within the first 24 hours, right away. How many of you have a call or a one-on-one with a new coach that you sign up within the first 24 hours? So not a lot of people. Most people don't do that. Most people are like, yeah, sign up a coach, let's get another one. Right? So you really gotta, the first 7 days in that coach is so critical. So I usually do a Zoom call with them, and in that Zoom I tell them, in the next 7 days, I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know to go public with your story, whatever your story is. So in those next 5 days, I run a 5-day new coach bootcamp. I figure out their why, I figure out their before and after, and we get that posted on social media. I don't worry about left leg, right leg, enrolled, any of that stuff. I don't worry about any of that. Because I kind of lead from the heart. And so for me, it's like, if I can get someone to go public with their story, then I know that they're going to get excitement from it. People are going to hit like. They're going to comment. They're going to tell me more. Even if they don't sell a challenge pack, they're going to be so excited that they're going to work hard for the next 6 months to a year to try and learn the business. So that first week is so critical. And I will say, I think I'm one of the best at doing that very little thing all the time, though. Every single coach I sign up, I do that with them. I do that with them over and over again. And that's what really creates success. And the thing you have to know as well is, when you sign up that coach, make sure you're adding them into your own coach team. Right? If you don't have a team yet, if you're part of Sean's team or my team or anyone's team, make sure you have your own Facebook team page. You might say, well, I only have one coach. That's fine. You have a team. If it's just you have a team. Right? If you have 3 people, you have a team. It doesn't matter. Get them in there and then have weekly calls with them. I do a Zoom call. Zoom's free. Zoom.us, I think, is the link. You can get a free Zoom account. You can have a team call with up to 25 people. Because you teaching every week, you knowing that you have a team call every Wednesday at 8 o'clock, that you have to have content prepared for, is incredibly important for you. You have to do that, because that's going to take your business to the next level. Okay, so 2 more big points I have to share. Here's the thing. How many of you are really excited to be here today? And that's awesome, but I'm going to be like a Debbie Downer, but I'm going to tell you that by stats, about 70% of you, 3 days from now, after you hear a couple of no's, or things happen, or a family member doesn't support you, you're going to feel deflated. You're going to feel like, I'm not as excited as I was 3 days ago. Right? And this is why I think that is. I think most people, when they come to these events, they hear other people's stories, and they're inspired by those stories. But what I noticed over the last 2.5 years, and I did this at Summit, is they never stop to figure out what their why is. But not just any why, they never stop to figure out what's that why that makes them cry. Because if you don't have that strong why, this business is hard. It's hard to hear no's. It's hard to hear people say, I think you're crazy. It's hard to hear all that stuff all the time. So if you don't have that strong why, it's a very hard business to do. And so what I did at Summit, I asked everybody to do is, if you want to do it right now, actually, why don't we do it right now? If you all want to stand up, for those that aren't standing, yes, this is speech body, you can stand up, we can do this. We can do this. Right? And if you can take out your cell phones, I know you all have cell phones. And so here's the thing. This moment right now, there are so many people that would love to be here, but aren't here. But not just people that you know, People that maybe you knew and you had a great connection with, but they're gone. And so what I want you to do right now is take out your cell phone, and if you can picture someone that in the last 5 years, the last year, the last 2 months, was with you, that's passed away. Maybe that friend that you had, maybe that grandma that you had, maybe that dad that you had. And if you can picture someone like that, I want you to turn the flash on your light, on your phone. You can just turn it on, and you can flash it up, and just leave it on. You can just flick it, and then turn on the little light. That's somebody that would love to be here, and be here in your position, and making a huge difference in the world. These people, they're not here, but you're here. And I believe they're watching over you. They're watching over you right now, and they're hoping that you will make a difference and make an impact in the world. Look around you, there's tons of lights. Those are people that have passed on to a better place, they're watching over you, but you're the one still here. You're the one that has the capability to donate to the IJM. You're the one that has the ability to stay and do the size workout. You're the one that has the ability to push play. You're the one that has the ability to inspire people. That's what keeps me motivated and excited. I've got more from Beach Body than I ever imagined in my life. You can turn the lights off now. Thank you. Because I can't see. But what gets me excited is honestly paying it forward. And I know that we can literally change the world. So the last thing I'll say, and then we'll end it, is I have a trick that I do that I've been doing since I became a Beachbody coach. And basically what it is a daily incantation. It's a way of programming your mind for success. There's a lot of different personality you can read, but this works really well. And I do it every single day. I usually do it in the shower so no one's making fun of me. And I basically talk to myself. And I tell myself how the day is going to go, and I tell myself how the future is going to go, and I see myself in the future. And if you do that enough, your mind is so powerful that it'll believe that it's going to happen. And it will start putting things in your life that will make it happen. Okay? So I'm going to make you all stand up one more time. I'm getting you warmed up. This is the warm-up for the size workout. It's going to be a good dance show. And if you can play the music for me. So I want you all to close your eyes right now. Everybody close your eyes. I can see you. Take a deep breath in, real deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Wiggle your toes, your fingers. One more deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Relax your shoulders, stop frowning. It's okay. You wake up one morning, you look to the left of you, and the most beautiful person that you were meant to spend the rest of your life with is lying beside you. You get up out of bed, you walk over to the window. There's cars that you dreamed of having your whole life are sitting there, and you get to pick which one to take to the airport. You walk downstairs. The kids are playing, the bags are packed, you smell that fresh coffee, just the way you like it. You call your mom and dad. Today is the day. You're heading to Coach Summit, Nashville, 2016. Your team's pumped up, you're fired to go, you go to the airport. You land in Nashville, you are so excited. Start walking into the arena, LP Field. There's thousands of people, 30,000 people screaming. You walk up to your reserve seating. Your team has their reserve seating. There's thousands of coaches on your team, and they're all there chanting and screaming. A video starts playing, a highlight reel of everything you went through in your life to get to that point. The people that said you couldn't do it. The people that said you were overweight. The people that said it's a scam. All those people, you see it happening. You start tearing from your eyes. You walk up on stage. Carl Leifler's there. He introduces you. People are chanting and cheering. You stand there. He hands you the microphone. He says, the floor is yours. And you stand there for a second. And the only thought that goes to your mind is what you will need to do to make sure that all the people on your team can one day stand up there and feel that incredible feeling that you're feeling that moment. That's what it's all about. Making an impact in the world. We're not just Team Beachbody. I believe you're all my brother and sister. If you ever need help, just reach out to me. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
You guys can clap a whole lot louder than that. Come on.